Dutch here with the bug wall, and today we're going to be doing the installation process of a side and rear door bug screen onto a 2020 Ford Transit. Keep in mind that the other makes and models such as the Dodge ProMaster and Mercedes Sprinter, the door is installed the same way with just a couple minor differences, and I'll try to point those out to you as we go. Okay, so let's go over the things you're going to need to get this install done as quickly and easily as possible. First, we're going to need our screen. The instructions are right here, but this video, we don't need those. Secondly, we're going to need a step stool. Get you up high, be as safe as possible. We're going to need some spring clamps. You can buy these at Home Depot. If you don't have any, they're about $1 a piece. They're going to help you hold it in place. You'll see, we'll get to use these later. We're going to need a rag to clean off some of the grease and grime from your weather stripping. We're going to need some scissors to trim at the end, possibly a box cutter or razor knife to really get some fine trim. In your kit, it would have came with some of these clips. I'll show you how these work. We're going to have these at the ready. And lastly, a little bit of Goo Gone in case you get some of the grease on your screen. You can clean it off real easy with this stuff right here. I prefer to wear gloves when I'm doing it just because of the grease that's on the inside of the weather stripping. Now, Ford has a lot more grease than ProMasters or Sprinters. The ProMaster and Sprinters, you guys, it's not really an issue at all. Ford, we got to clean some of the grease off. All right, so now that we got all our stuff together, it's time to get down to business. So, first, get ready. Step one, load your koozie. Very important step here. Drink of choice. So, okay, so now that we have step one taken care of, it's time to get to actual work. So, you're gonna remove sections of your weather stripping. Not a ton at a time, because if it's all off, it's a really big pain in the butt to put back on. So, pull a section off. What you're gonna wanna do is take your rag, and there's gonna be grease all through these flanges. You're gonna wanna clean that off pretty reasonably. You don't have to be perfect with it, but we want it cleaned off a fair amount. Also, there's gonna be grease inside your weather strip. Go ahead and take your rag and get a good portion of that out of there. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. We just wanna remove a fair amount of it. Then you're gonna replace that section and work your way onto another section. Okay? Clean the grease, replace it, and work your way all the way around the door. You don't have to go across the bottom, as our screens are gonna end just at your step. Start hanging the screen with some of these spring clamps. So, what you're gonna do, it's a little difficult to do one person. Second person definitely makes this step a little easier. We're going to center the screen approximately. Make sure you got overlap on both sides of the weather stripping. Now, we're gonna get a clamp on here to hold this still for us while we're ready. So we'll put one there. We'll come over here to the side, hold the screen up. You're gonna just pinching these clamps right onto the weather stripping. Come over here, get another one on this side. If you can tell, I just got these clamps pinched right onto the weather stripping. Our whole door's on the outside. We're just gonna take a look and make sure we're gonna have overlap to the weather stripping. Now, it looks like I'm a little tight on this side, so I'm probably gonna loosen these clamps and just move it that way, maybe a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch. All right, that looks better side to side. Now we're gonna focus on this top. We're gonna try and get this kind of level across this door opening. Across the top looks pretty level. It looks like I have good coverage on the sides. Once we have it set to where we like the level and the side of the screen position, we're gonna leave these two side clamps on. We're gonna undo this one right here, expose the weather stripping through here. Now, we're gonna pull the weather stripping off. And as you can see with this Ford weather stripping, you can kind of, there's a wire inside, you can kind of shape it. We're gonna wanna pinch all this weather stripping nice and tight so it'll grip real good again. You're going to feed your screen from the inside out. It's real important so we don't disrupt the seal for the door. Then you're just going to kind of start working it. Don't worry about the excess. We're going to trim that off at the end. And don't worry about the little clips. We're going to come back and put those on after the initial set's done. So then we're going to go ahead and start working it all the way around, little by little. So go ahead and pinch the middle, come over here. It'll take some patience. This is not a one and done type project. We're gonna mess with it and we're gonna readjust it and get it to where it needs to be. Remember to pinch as you go to retighten it and put it back up. Okay. Once you get to the edges, we're going to take the other 2 clamps we have and we're going to come down a little bit and we're going to put those on right like that and pinch that weather stripping. That's going to allow us to go ahead and remove these clamp and we can work down the side exactly like we're going across the top. Remove it, pinch it, put it back on. So we'll remove a small section, feed the cloth, pinch the weather stripping nice and tight, and work it back on. Like I said, don't worry about the excess. We're going to trim that off at the end. If you feel like you're having a hard time getting the weather stripping to go back in, it means you got a little too much tension on the screen. This is where I say it's take a little patience. You're going to pull it, relieve a little tension, and it'll go on a little easier. Pinch it shut, feed it through, reinstall. Okay, this is one of the sections where a ProMaster differs slightly. On the inside of the ProMaster, there's a little plastic panel. You're gonna have to undo that panel. That panel actually grips onto the weather stripping. So we want to make sure we leave a little bit of slack on this side for the ProMaster, because when that panel grips back on, it's going to tighten the screen back up. But for the Ford, you just keep working your way down. The only tricky part of the Ford is going to be down here at the step. I'll show you. You don't necessarily have to remove this step, but it does make it easier if you remove it. I'm going to show you how to do it without removing it, just to show you that you're not going to hurt anything. So we're going to keep working our way down. Keep feeding it behind. When you get down here to the step, you're going to have to curl your weather strip out from behind there. It takes a little bit of effort to get that out. Go ahead and feed your material behind and then work it back down. And then here, just like you got it out, you're going to have to put a little spin on that to get it to go back, and use a little bit of elbow grease there. And get all your tucked back in. All right, so after we got that side done, we're gonna go ahead and repeat the process on this side. So as you can see, we're over to this. So we're gonna go ahead and just move this clamp down, pull this down, pinch, feed the sailcloth through, pinch this, bring it through. Now, here's an important thing. We don't want to stretch this too tight, because once these magnets, we want them to be able to operate. So when we're pushing this back up and we're pinching this side, we want to just make sure there's a little bit of, don't pull it real tight. So you're gonna go ahead and get all these back on. The corners are the trickiest part. but you'll get the hang of it. As you work your way down, just remove the clamps. Other tricky part's coming up right here with this bump. So keep moving down, feed that cloth behind, pinch that weather strip, put it back on. This corner right here will cause a lot of tension because of the shape of the opening. So you're gonna wanna just take care here and keep it kind of loose. You don't have to kill the tension here. Remove the last clamp. Go ahead and pull this section here. Pull that weather stripping behind. Check the tension. Now, you're going to have the second part of the transit that's tough with your step being here kind of against the weather strip. Each van's a little different, especially with people with different height floors. My van has about 1.5 inch raised floor. You should be able to roll it out of there. If not, I can show you right here. You'll have little caps here on your step. You'll just have to undo these screws. This plastic piece will come up out of your way, and you'll be able to have much easier access to this weather stripping. But usually you can roll it out. So you can just kind of roll it right off that flange. You're not going to hurt nothing. And then you can go ahead and pinch it. Pinch it. Get this tucked behind there. And work it down. Make sure you're keeping a little bit of slack in it. Right here, we're going to roll that back in there. This will be tough, but it will go. All right, have a little difficulty there. Get that open. There it goes. So, I don't want to cut around that. We'll just show you that is how difficult that can be if you don't remove the plastic step. If you remove the plastic step, that goes on just as easy as the rest of the process. So now we got the doors in, being pinched by the weather strip. We don't have a ton of tension on it. The reason we don't want a ton of tension is your magnets need some operating tension. Now, so you can see here at the bottom, I'm probably a little too tight because that didn't click back together. So this side's a little difficult. We're gonna undo it, pull a little less tension on it, and put it back. So unclipped it, just pull a little slack out of there. Nothing crazy, it's just because it has to bend around that thing. And then we'll put it right back on. There we go, went easier that time. And now you got the right tension in the screen. And it should close pretty nice. Oh, still got a little more tension to go there, so we'll go ahead and do it one more time. Like I said, it's just something you're gonna work with and play with until you get the right tension on your screen. So we'll go ahead and pull some of that off. Go ahead and pinch it back on there. Okay, now we'll see the tension. So what I'm thinking is this side might need to be loosened a little bit. So we'll come over here, loosen this up just a hair. Go ahead and, you might need to pinch it again. Go ahead and get it back on there. See how that rolls right in there? All right, now we got a little bit less tension in there. There you go. So it's just a matter of messing with the tension. Sometimes you might have too much tension in the upper. If that's the case, you might get a little pulling like this. That means you just need to loosen the tension a little bit in this section right here. So now we're gonna go on to the next step, which is gonna be placing the clips. So your screen will come with these little clips. They are gonna be used to pinch the fabric onto the flange. So now we have the screen where we like it. We'll go ahead and back and go across the top and basically down to each corner with these little clips. What they're going to do is just reinforce the hold on these transit side doors. They're not needed on the rear because of the direction of the flange. The side doors, the flange is facing downward. We just want to give a little help to this screen for long-term durability. Okay, so you're just going to go ahead and pull small sections of your newly awesomely installed screen down that we just did, and you're going to go ahead and take these clips. They're going to press over top of the metal and hold that screen in place. Then you can go ahead and put that back. So pinch again. These little clips are going to grip this weather strip pretty good. Push it up. Hold on there pretty solid. Go ahead down a little ways. Let's put another one in. Down here, I'd say you're probably going to run about 5 across the top and then 1 down each side if you have them. Now, Pro Masters and Sprinters, your weather stripping grips really good. You may not need these clips. That's why I tell you to go ahead and put the door in at first. These clips may just not be necessary on your vehicles, especially the Sprinters. Most of their weather stripping seems to grip really hard. So you're going to go ahead and just work those clips on there. You'll feel the weather strip snap right over top of them. In the corners where I like to put one here and one here if you have them. If you find that your metal is too thick for these clips or too thin, you can take a set of pliers and just pinch them or spread them apart a little bit, whatever you need to make it work. Here, put a couple in this corner. Now, here's an example of what I was talking about. The sheet metal is real thick in this corner. There's a couple layers if you look close here. So it just may not go there. You can move it down a little bit and it'll have an easier time gripping. So we're just gonna move that down. Pop it on there, re-pinch our screen, go ahead and put it back. Like I said, you'll feel it kind of click over that little clip. Lastly, the last place I like to put one is right here where this tension is on this curve. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a clip, pull it out, go ahead and put it right here on this tension of this curve. Pinch your strip, go ahead and put it back. Might need to take a little tap. You can use your wrist, your hand. I don't recommend that. You might want to grab a little mallet or something like that. Make sure it's all snug. So now what we have is a door that's pretty snug. Anywhere you have a little thing you might want to work on, you can always come up, pinch this weather strip, put it back. But with those clips there, you're going to be in pretty good shape. So that's that. The last step will be trimming the excess. All right, our last step, we're gonna go ahead and trim that excess. Scissors are probably your best bet, least chance of scratching or cutting your paint. You can also use a razor knife, box cutter, if you want to get a real close, nice trim job. Me personally, we'll just trim it off and make it look decent, and we're gonna call it good there. So you can start at the bottom. If there's not a lot of excess like this, I mean, it's your choice if you even mess with that. I probably won't. I'll probably just come up here and just use my scissors and come in here. You'll need your step stool to get to the top. Now, let me mention this also. If you're not real confident on your layout or you think you might want to move it, go ahead and leave the excess for now. It's not going to hurt nothing. It's beyond the weather strip. You can leave it, make sure everything's like the way you like it before you go ahead and cut this off. And you can see why I recommend possibly going back with the razor knife. You can really trim that off and make it look nice. It's a little rough with scissors. Just depends on how much time you want to take to do it. Now, as you can see, I didn't have as much trim off of this side. The way the Ford bumps out there, especially the Sprinter does the same thing. The Sprinter is even more pronounced, along with the ProMaster. So when you're centering your screen back at the beginning, make sure you account that you're going to reach this furthest point on the weather stripping. Now you're all trimmed up, throw your trash away, and go ahead and make sure everything's closing good. Pretty solid. Now, we offer these screens in magnetic center and zipper center. We're gonna do the rear door. I brought a zipper door to do on the rear just to show you both options. All right, so now that our side door's done, we're on to the rear. The only major difference in the rear is you're gonna have a flap here for your latches. I'm gonna show you how to line that up, and then other than that, they install exactly the same way. So we're gonna take this screen, now go ahead and line the center of your zipper or magnet up with to the center of the vehicle. Don't worry about the alignment of the latches. The latches will be off center inside this, but that's okay. So go ahead and put that there. You can go ahead and get a clamp on this side. You see, we're already getting swarmed with bugs. These things are going to come in handy. Go ahead over here, get a clamp on there. So again, we're gonna check for the level. We like our center pretty good. Now we can actually open this flap carefully and see if our latches are gonna line up. So I may wanna just move this over just a hair out to the right. So we'll go ahead and do that, kind of give that. So we'll go ahead and take this off. So give it a little slack. Just move it over just a little bit. Now our latches are gonna line up in the hole. So we're clamped on both sides. We feel pretty good about our latch alignment. You may not hit it perfect on the first time, but that's okay. This one's easy to adjust. Go ahead and pull this. Let all the bugs go in there, and we're gonna stop in a minute. So the only major difference on the back door is the weather stripping is gonna pull off this direction instead of down. It actually is nice. We don't need the little clips because it holds it much better. So we're gonna pull it off. We already cleaned it, hopefully. If you didn't, as you can tell, I didn't clean it perfectly. That's okay. We're gonna pinch it. We're gonna feed this through. Start there. Just kind of work our way. Like I said, you may prefer a mallet to your fist. Once we got this section in here, let's just double check this. As you can see, I'm a little low here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this, pick this up a little bit. Put it back in. Now we're good. Take this side, pick it up just a hair, put it back on there. Right. Pull this off, and we're gonna keep rolling here and show you guys this in real time. Move my clamp down. Pull this. Pinch it. No-seams are getting us. Good part about our screens is these no-seams will not get in once we actually have it up on the hole. Double check, we like it, good. Keep working it down. Now, this is one of the areas where a Sprinter will differ. So on the Sprinter, your door catches up to, I think, 2018, come through to the other side of your weather stripping. We do put the slots in it for those to go into. So when you're aligning your top, you're going to want to also kind of double check your side-to-side alignment on the Sprinters where it's going to go through those door catches. On a ProMaster, the only hard part is your latches are very, very tight to your weather stripping. You can roll the weather stripping out of there. We do not remove the latches. Just go ahead and roll your weather stripping out of there. It's difficult. It's just kind of like the side door, but you can get it done. This is a zipper center, so you can put a little more tension on this than the magnets. It doesn't really matter. Don't over tighten it, but you can have a little bit more than the magnets and have a nice tight look to the screen. We'll go to this side and just continue on down. Remember to pinch. Feed it back there. Go ahead and move this down. Remove the last clamp. So, one last tip. On some of these, you can actually take the extra material and just kind of stuff it in there and get it to where it looks real nice without actually having to trim. You can do either or. Kind of double check everything. All right, I feel pretty good about that. So here's a zipper center. Nice and easy to get into. Real nice looking on the outside. So now we're just gonna go ahead and trim that just like we did on the side doors, and that's a wrap. Your screens are installed. Okay, I want to give you one last cautionary note involving the flap for your latches. When your screens are down, you want this flap shut to keep the bugs out, obviously. But when you go to roll your screens up and shut your doors and use your van normal, you want to make sure this is down before you shut your doors. I know this from experience. You probably won't poke a hole through it or anything like that. It's pretty tough material. But if you do it more than once, you may risk poking a hole in it. If that does happen to you, just let me know and we'll get you hooked up. But as long as your door is down, you can shut your doors. Everything works as it should. You don't necessarily have to roll these screens up to shut these doors. But I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. All right, so that'll do for the screen installs on your side and rear door. I think it takes, with this cleaning the grease and stuff, it could take you anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour, depending on how well you decide to clean all the grease in that. Other than that, these bugs out here in this, where I'm at, are just getting me. So the very final step is to go ahead and reload, and let's get inside these screens, get away from all these bugs, and we'll have a cold one. No bugs in here.